Yes.
Good morning, it's somewhere, and welcome back to the Concellation 2021 Green Room. But the puppeteer joining us is a real character. Please welcome Dave Alvarez.
Hey there.
Hey, Dave. How are you doing?
Oh, cool. How are you?
Doing well. When I first encountered you was right here.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. The Beatles cover. Yeah.
yeah. So
That's
across
cool.
the universe, Tales of the Alternate Beatles. I had a story in there, and Ian had you do the cover for it, and
Mm-hmm.
kind of how we first encountered. But you've done
Oh, that's cool.
a lot of other stuff also. Tell me about some of the art projects you've done.
Oh, Lord. Yeah. Let's see. I've done a lot of stuff around the
Feel free to mention
Beatles
any
comics,
kind of
which
art
are
projects
around
you've
by DC.
done of
Oh, there you
any.
go.
Yeah,
There's another one of them. There you have the the Baby Yoda t-shirt that became very popular until T-Public put it down, but but it was around. Uh, well, I work on the Looney Tunes comics. I work on the IDW Disney comics as well. Uh, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I'm basically working now on animation. I'm working several. We've been working on several shows. We're working on Tom and Jerry and on SpongeBob. So I've been around.
that's a very impressive list. To say, oh, by the way, I'm working with IDW and Disney, and by the way, but you're very casual about all this. This is exciting stuff.
I don't know. People come around and say, "Hey, man, have you ever thought that you actually work for Disney?" Yeah,
Yeah,
now that you mention it, they owe me a check. Oh, let me. So it is to me, I don't let those things get into my head. It's just like just casual gigs that you actually
yeah.
get here and there. But I'm being very grateful because every and each one of them has been a door for learning. And every time I get into a new one or screw something in the project, it's something that I learn. So I'm very grateful for all of them.
Very good. So, how did you get into all this? How did you get started?
Well, actually, I started off, I think it was back in the day. I was making a comic strip that was called Satcha and Angelin. I used to publish that in local newspapers, and as soon as internet became available, uh, I live in my parent house by that time. I didn't have access to internet, so my dad bought a computer and went over. We went over to the internet, and I started publishing my uploading my comic strips to different places. So I changed that comic's name from Sashi and Angela to Yenny, just to simplify stuff. And then after that, I got an opportunity on Universal Press website. It was called, I think it was Comic Sherpa, and they started publishing my comic in there. That's basically when everything started, and I started promoting my comic strip here and there, and I started meeting people, and I had a few subscribers to the comic strip, and I think I posted this once in my Facebook. It was a very funny story that happened to me because once I got a reply from one of the subscribers, and I could see all the list of people that was subscribed to my comic, and I was, wait, that guy is, wait, oh, that other guy said, oh man, Paul Dini. And I was, everybody was there,
Yeah.
so I was like, yeah, I started, casually sending stuff to people, maybe a sticker, maybe some stuff like that. So I started creating friendship with these people, and then one thing led to another, and then I started working on the Looney Tunes comics, which happens right after that, and well, the rest is history. I've been here around.
Yeah. So you mentioned Yeni. Yeni, you're still doing, right? That's still been going on all these years later.
Well, I was until last year. I was publishing on my own website, and but I stopped the publication because I started working on other projects, studio projects, and it was just too time consuming. One of the things that I regret about doing Yanni is that I didn't choose to make her just a circle and two dots and stuff like that, so I could get over it fast. It's a
Yeah.
really complicated design, and every time that I have to, that's something that people don't think. And they say, "Where's Jenny?" Man, did you know that one comic strip can take me basically the whole day? So because I have to, there are three panels, but three panels of different positions of Jenny. There's just in the side, there's just doing this, or just, no matter how fast I can become, it's just too time consuming. So I had to put it on hold. Not that I'm not doing it again, but just on hold until I can figure things out. But this
You'll
year,
have to do a color form style. You'll have to cut out all the Yenis from all the previous ones, and you can just cut and paste.
it's funny because I started doing that.
Mm-hmm.
There was a time when I was publishing Jenny on the newspaper. Everything was just too time consuming. I was working on the Linton show by that time, so so in order for me to get a hold of my own schedule, I started creating all these poses and started repeating them every time that Jenny
Yeah.
was on the computer. She was with her legs like this and doing that, but people noticed.
Yeah.
They started writing, and by that time I was formally with United Press, and they started writing to the syndicate and said, "Hey, this guy is not working. This guy's repeating drawings." And the editor went to me, "Man, if you can put a little more effort and
Yeah.
stop repeating stuff." So yeah, readers are kind of yeah,
Well,
pretty picky.
it's internet culture. People used to go, "Gee, that looks wrong," and then they'd move on. And now it's, "Gee, that looks wrong." Oh, 500 people agreed with me. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that happens. Yeah. Everybody, that's how cancel culture happens. People start. It's like a snowball. It goes bigger and bigger and bigger. Biggest. It starts very small and then gets bigger.
Yeah.
And that
The,
happens with the comic strip too.
the joy and terror of the internet is like-minded people can get together. When they're nice, like-minded people, it's wonderful. When they're not so nice, like-minded people, it gets pretty bad.
Yeah, that's man. I've been there. I know how it is. Every time I see something like that, I go like, "Oh man, here we go again." But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a complicated thing.
So, tell me about this new project that Coda.
Oh, I have Kodo Kotora, yeah, and well, this is how that thing happened. I think I was working on a show by that time. I think it was maybe it was Tom and Jerry. Yeah, I think so. So I was behind schedule, and this is a little bit of discipline that I do. When I'm behind schedule, I try to block myself from everything outside. So I start listening to documentaries.
Yeah.
I just listen to the voice, and there's a way of learning. So I was listening to this documentary on Disney Plus. It's called Walt and El Grupo.
Mhm.
So it told the story of how Walt Disney, or what happened when Walt Disney went to visit South America and all those Latin America places. So they started talking about their respective characters and how they brought them to life to the movie. Joe Carioca, and then you have the little plane and stuff like that. So it started occurring to me, what if they landed out in Puerto Rico? They don't have a bird here to meet. So I started doodling this bird and uploaded on Facebook and say, this is a character I just came up with. I'm gonna call him Kodo Kotora. Kotora is like a parrot here.
Mhm.
So it's a kind of an Amazonian parrot, but it has a little red thing here and white eyes and it's kind of cool. So I just uploaded, and I have no idea why people went crazy for it. They were, oh man, this looks good. It's a great character. And I was like, it is actually. Oh, it's cool. And I was always on the lookout for that character that I could actually, identify myself with. I have a lot of characters I've done. And again, it was Shanghai, and then for some reason, Kodo actually clicked on me. So
Well,
then,
Kodo has a lot of personality. Just looking at a single still picture of him, there's a lot of personality there.
oh, that's great. Thank you. That's a good thing. Well, actually, and then I started making comic strips of him, and I started developing other characters. I added another character that I already did. It was Chicken Dog to the mixture, and everything kind of clicked in. So I was like, okay, so this is what was missing. I was missing a main character, and all these characters started to come into the comic strip. So it started picking up popularity over the internet and stuff like that, and until Arcana Studio approached me, and they said they'll make a great comic. Arcana actually they contact me on the past, looking forward for properties so they can develop and distribute. They're a big studio in Canada. The properties that I had, they were either too adult or way too off for their audience. So Kodo came like something out of the blue, and they said, "Oh, we're interested in that." Are you? Okay, great. So let's start making this comic. So we started off doing that, and I think by next month, you should be seeing the first Kodo Kotora comic. So
very exciting. So it's being released as a comic book in Canada, the United States, international. Where's it going to be available?
Well, as far as I know, I think it's going to be available both physically and online. I'm not sure how it's going to be distributed. We got to keep on with their cat for that, but I think it's going to be available through the website and maybe through previews. So I have to get all that thing together first before making it official. But it's going to be online. That's going to be one of the alternatives. I'm pretty sure about that.
Very cool. So tell me about Ecto-1.
No.
I almost wore the Ghostbusters shirt that you did. I have that at home too. But,
oh yeah. Well, the Ecto-1. That's a Cadillac that I bought. I think it was in 2016. I think 2016. There was this Cadillac that I saw landing. They threw it away, and it was everybody was sending me pictures. I'm a big fan of Ghostbusters, so friends of mine that passed through the ambulance, they were like, "Hey, that thing is lying down on the grass and somewhere in Bayamon, this town here." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I saw it. Yeah." Previous to that, I got to see that same ambulance, but the guy didn't want to sell. It was back in 2009, so call it fate, call it karma, in Bill Murray's mood. So eventually the car came out again, and I made an offer to the guy, and it took me years to restore it because it was pure ball of mold and everything. Oh, it was horrible. So, I brought it in. Everybody was like, "You're gonna restore that?" But eventually I did. So it still had some work to do, but it has been a nice little hobby aside of the job to work on too.
I've been watching the pictures you've posted on Facebook periodically. It's really fun to watch how you've been rebuilding it.
No, thank you. Yeah, I have very little time for it, but every time that I do, I try to do as much as I can. But it's a really complicated car. All the details that it had. I loved that car when I was a kid, and I said I want that car when I grow up. And it's something that a little indulgement for my little kid that I the little kid inside me that actually got to find the car is not a 59, it's a 63, but it's pretty close.
And that's it. I'm sorry. It's not the right vehicle. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It's not the right vehicle. You got to look for it again. Nah. It's cool. It's cool. I like it.
You've done a phenomenal job with the paint job is spot on. The logo is just hysterically perfect. Really,
Well,
really
thank you.
cool. Yeah.
Thank you, man. Glad you like it.
Yeah. So tell me about puppets.
Oh, puppets. Well, puppet has been with me for a long, long time. Uh, when I started off my career, I wanted to either be an animator or a puppeteer, and I, I think one of my biggest influences has been Jim Henson and all his work, and it's it's kind of funny because I was a kid, but it was like I was living what they were living. It was, I
Mm-hmm.
followed every little thing that they used to do, and either the Muppet Show or the little specials, and I was following everything. So I kind of got used to them, and I said, I want to do that. I want to do that, and I did for a little bit of time. I worked on Telemundo, Puerto Rico as a puppeteer. I had my own show was called Radio Mostro, and it was a very short time, and it was kind of fantastic because you working with puppets can be quite a thing. It's kind of animation,
Mm-hmm.
but in real time. So, but yeah, I kind of love puppetry, as you can see.
So you create any original characters in the puppetry field? You said you had your own show, so I'm assuming you've got a catalog there too.
Yeah, I created. I have some characters in mind. As Monkey J, which is the first main character that I normally play. Uh, we made a little channel called Monkey TV. Uh, some guys got together and we wanted to, very talented local puppeteers.
Mm-hmm.
So I started developing all these characters again, and they took over some of them. And these guys are the funniest people. So we started making our stuff and uploading videos on YouTube, and it kind of worked. And
Mm-hmm.
when I have my time, more time, I'm going to develop that a little bit more. But it's kind of cool.
Yeah, so it sounds like you've kind of gotten to hit a lot of your dreams, which is a very exciting thing.
Yeah, actually, it is. It's a dreaming development because I haven't finished working with those puppets yet. So every time that I have some time, I try to do something with puppets, either with my characters and or other characters that I can come up with. As you can see.
So comics, animation, puppetry, Ghostbusters car. What's the next project? What's the next thing you want to do?
Oh, well, that's a funny thing because I want to do so many things that I don't see an end to them. It's like, oh, no, this is going to be my main goal. Because every time that I finish a project, I say, well, let's go to the next one.
Yeah.
So, what I really want to do that I haven't been able to do is establish my own character and establish my own, let's say, my own franchise or something like that. I'm hoping that I have a lot of characters that I have developed, but even though I had managed to make a living through some of them, they haven't stayed as long as I could because I said I'm mostly an artist. I'm not a business guy or anything like that. So this is one of the main things that I want to do. I want to leave something to people, and that's what I want with Kodo. I want to leave something to this world that it's cool to draw Bugs Bunny. It's cool to draw SpongeBob. It's great to do all these characters, but I want to leave something in mind. I want to do something that people can remember what I did for it, and not only that, but just to do some good. I want to do some good. I had that something that's tattooed somewhere inside my head that I wanted to do some good, and I wanted to leave that to the people. So, every time a character comes up, it's like a little bridge to humanity. That's the way I see it. There's many bridges with all these characters that come on that people come up with around the world. You can travel to Belgium with the Smurfs. You can travel to the United States to Mickey Mouse. You can travel to other places with other characters that come over. You can go to, the characters from Dorito. You can you can travel to Chile. They're bridges. So I want to create a bridge to Puerto Rico as well, and so people can learn more about my country and learn this little island I grew up in, and I think that will be a nice little next goal.
Very, very cool. Really exciting stuff. I wish you the absolute best.
Thank you.
Maybe once Koto's launched, we'll get you back on here and you can show us some of the comics and maybe bring some of your puppets on next time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way,
you got him? You got?
I got one here that you guys might know. It's not mine, but I think you already know him. Let's see. Oh, hi there. How you doing?
Oh, Kermie, what are you doing there?
Oh, Biggie's there. Oh, I didn't know that. How you doing, Biggie?
Yeah, beautiful, absolutely wonderful.
Well, thank you very much. I just want to say hello.
I appreciate that. So, Kermit, do you have anything you want to tell us about Dave?
This guy over here?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I don't know him at all.
I don't know. I've seen you do some very famous interviews on Sesame Street. I was thinking maybe you could tell us a little bit about him.
Oh, yeah. I've been around Sesame Street, and people from Disney doesn't want me in Sesame Street anymore. That's a long story. So I better not talk a lot before I shoot myself on the foot. So thank you very much for inviting me. I'm gonna disappear for just a second. Goodbye.
That's it. So any other upcoming things you want to plug, things you want people to know about? You want to mention some of the, where people can find Yenny and other things like that?
You can find Yenny on dascomics.com. That's my website, dascomic.com. There's another character that we've been developing a game, this Guy, which is another character of mine. And the game should be available soon. So there will be a link for that too. And what else? I think you can find everything about me on dascomic.com. So
very cool. So thank you very much for your time. And Danny,
thanks for joining us.
Bye, guys.